It's Monday, May 27. In the headlines, Bank of Jamaica developing a central electronic client database. In business news, we take a look at how to make passive income on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Regionally, the government declares Antigua and Barbuda ready for SIDS 4. And in sports, West Indies smashes South Africa with a 3-0 T20 International Series win. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. A section of Portmore Drive in St. Catherine has reduced to single-lane usage for 4 days between its intersection with Portmore Parkway, George Lee Boulevard, and Miller Road. The National Works Agency has advised that the work is being implemented in 2 phases. Both phases are being done under a contract that will see the replacement of a damaged drainage grating. The works are valued at just under $2 million. The Bank of Jamaica is in the process of creating a central electronic database containing Know Your Customer details. This initiative aims to simplify the process for clients looking to switch banks. Danita Rodney tells us more.
Speaking at the BOJ's quarterly monetary policy press conference on Tuesday, Central Bank Governor Richard Bowles revealed that 60% of deposits are held in just 2 of Jamaica's 11 deposit-taking institutions, and that competition can be created by introducing new players in the sector or making it easier for customers of any bank to move their account.
Now, I don't have to tell you how difficult it is right now, which has to do with a lot of the MLCFT policies that are in place, and you have to have all kind of different documents, and there's a long process to open an account. What we are trying to do, and we have started that work, and we can ask Dr. Lewis to speak a little bit more about it, is to create a central electronic database of all of the Know Your Customer information that is required for opening a bank account. So a central database that all of the bank's customers, regardless of which bank they belong to, have their data residing in. And they can move that data to any bank to open a bank account, just like that.
Governor Bowles also shared the timeline of the launch of the new database.
But Dr. Lewis kind of whispered to me that 18 to 24 months, we hope to have this in effect. The World Bank is working with us on it, but it's going to take a lot of cooperation between ourselves and the commercial banks themselves. And you can understand that, because what we're going to be saying to them is that you need to take all of your data on every customer, and there are hundreds of thousands of customers, and put that data into this depository.
He says this timeline is to assure banks that their customers' data will be safe, secure, accessible, and not open to cyber attacks.
So they need to know it's safe, secure, accessible, all of those safeguards, not open to cyber attack, because banks have to be very careful about their customers' data. So any central depository will have to be like Fort Knox. So it's going to take a little while to get it done, but the timeline we have internally is 18 to 24 months.
Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I'm Danita Rodney.
5 Jamaicans became homeowners on Friday under the government's new social housing program. 3 in Clarendon Southeastern and 2 in Clarendon Southwestern. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the trip to Rocky Point to hand over one of the units to Clyde Coleman and his family.
This program, new social housing program, is a part of the government's social safety net. And the program targets households that have very low income or no income whatsoever. That is an important criteria for selection. There are other criteria as well. For example, we look at the households that have young children. have elderly, large households, and this household meets all the criteria set. So if you're talking about breaking intergenerational poverty, then the Coleman's family is a perfect example of this.
Mr. Holness says the team took into consideration that the area is flood prone, and so in the engineering provisions were made to lift the building. Anyone under the age of 18 who comes into contact with the justice system are often daunted by the experience. But there are agencies and programs set up to help them navigate the various elements. We learn more about this from this JIS feature.
The journey of a child entangled in the justice system can be daunting, but within Jamaica's justice landscape, there's a beacon of hope, a network of child-focused services dedicated to guiding young individuals toward a brighter future. From diversion programs to victim support initiatives, these services aim to provide holistic care, rehabilitation, and empowerment for Jamaica's youth. These programs are offered through several branches of the Ministry of Justice.
Child diversion, as the name implies, is a way of diverting children from the formal justice system into other options or other services that can provide rehabilitation and reintegration. The program focuses on children between the ages of 12 and 17 who come into conflict with the formal justice system. What this means is the child is suspected of an offense, they're accused of an offense, or they're charged with an offense. Once this takes place, a child can be referred by the police or the court to the child diversion offices across the island, so that if they make a mistake or they make a bad decision, they won't be criminalized and they won't have to live with that decision for the rest of their lives, as long as they abide by the program and they complete the program.
Support is also offered to persons who have been harmed by a crime through the Victim Services branch within the Ministry's Social Service Division. This branch is charged with the responsibility to provide counseling, emotional support, and therapy to persons who are victims of crime. They provide a service that is confidential, professional, and neutral.
The language of children is play, and we have found, especially with the very younger clients, that in utilizing play therapy mechanisms, it is very effective in terms of reaching them, in terms of getting them to open up to us and to be able to tell their story, and for us to be able to work through the traumatic symptoms with them. One of our flagship programs is that we provide court support for individuals. We use behavior modification interventions, we use cultural restructuring mechanisms to be able to help the child to understand what is happening to them. One such program is our cultural resocialization program. Another intervention that we utilize is our Overcomers in Action program. And this one is geared specifically towards females who have been sexually abused. It's a group therapy intervention that runs for 6 sessions, and it culminates in a graduation ceremony.
The Restorative Justice Branch provides support to both the victims and perpetrators of crime, prioritizing accountability and healing over mere punishment. It aims to repair relationships, reintegrate offenders into communities, and foster healing for victims and communities. The branch also ensures the lasting impact of conflict resolution skills learned through its training programs in educational institutions. Through a memorandum of understanding between the Ministries of Justice and Education and Youth, significant stride is being made. Since 2022, over 12,000 participants from schools nationwide have had the opportunity to engage in 2-day training workshops focused on restorative justice.
Restorative practices is focused on healing. What it does, it is an investment into relationships among these critical players within the institutions. Additionally, restorative practices hold each player accountable, and this is done by engaging them in collaborative conversations that allows them to explore their actions, their decisions, and their behaviors to recognize the impact that it would have had on the persons around them. And so from these conversations, we see a mounting personal development and change among the key players. These are very important if we are trying to rewrite the narrative of how we resolve conflicts and disputes.
Through the Social Justice Division of the Ministry of Justice, we are committed to
Healing and justice for all children.
Creating a circle of care.
delivering justice that heals, and
together we are taking justice to the people of Jamaica.
In a landscape often shadowed by challenges, Jamaica's child-focused services stand as pillars of hope, offering a lifeline to young individuals in need. Through comprehensive care, empowerment, and community support, these initiatives are not just shaping individual lives, but laying the foundation for a more inclusive, compassionate, and safe society for all.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, your guide to the latest happenings in the world of business. Investors can look out for income from passive income in the form of dividends from companies listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Dolphin Cove Limited has advised that the directors declared an interim dividend of 60 cents per share. The dividend will be paid on Friday, June 21, 2024, to shareholders on record at Thursday, June 6, 2024. Image Plus Consultants Limited has advised that the Board of Directors declared an interim dividend of 3 cents per ordinary stock unit payable on July 11, 2024, to shareholders on record as at June 19, 2024. With nearly 80% of the Jamaican working population without a pension plan, according to Grace G. McLean, a financial advisor and retirement specialist, taking action now is important. And so people who are retired or nearing retirement likely want reliable income to meet their needs. In part 3 of our interview with Rachel Curlew, Assistant Vice President of Investments at Mayberry Investments, we learn more. Now, one of the challenges we have are Jamaicans are living longer, right? And if you're living longer, your income needs to stretch. Okay, so if you're retired or nearing retirement, we need a strategy for reliable income to meet your needs. What are some ideas?
So a retired or retiring person needs to prioritize on 3 things. They need to prioritize investing in reliable income with a low risk, and they need to be very concentrated on capital preservation.
Right, so they need to keep their money.
Keep their money.
They don't need to lose the money they worked very hard for.
Absolutely.
All right.
So my strategy would be to invest in fixed income securities.
Okay.
You know, that's going to provide you a conservative way to earn income on your money. You're getting fixed interest payments, whether quarterly, monthly, semi-annually, and you're guaranteed your amount back, your principal back at retirement. That's very important. So you're preserving your capital.
Right, all right. Okay, and so what you're saying is that even though we're in a situation where if persons are retired, you know, like companies may force you to retire at 60, and some cases 65, you would then actually be able to take that lump sum and do something with it.
Correct.
So let's say that's what I did. I took your advice. I looked to make sure my lump sum is safe. I'm getting a good interest rate on my lump sum. And I come to you and I give you, how am I paid every 3 months. Tell me how that works.
Okay, so you give me your money to invest in some bonds, for example, the MJE bonds. We're going to invest in one of our tenures for 10% every quarter. So you're going to get your interest every 3 months.
Yes.
You're going to get it in the form of a check or a wire transfer, or you can leave the funds in your brokerage account to reinvest. And you're going to get a check or bank transfer, or you can leave it in your investment account. You're going to get your principal amount at the end of the investment cycle.
All right. So I am retired or nearly retired. I do have a lump sum. I want something that's going to give me reliable income. And you're saying I can choose how long I want to leave my money. So I had to do 13 months.
Yeah. So if you invest in the MJE bonds,
right,
you can invest for 13 months, 26 months, 36 months, whatever matches your investment horizon.
And then at the end, I get back my principal.
Everything you get back.
But in between, every 3 months,
you're getting interest.
I get interest.
Correct.
And that interest is put either in my account, sent to another account, or I can buy more investments.
Correct.
With the interest I earn.
To get that capitalizing compounding returns.
Absolutely. It sounds like a plan for my retirement money. My name is Denise Williams, and I am here with Rachel Curlew, Assistant Vice President at Mayberry Investments. During trading for the period May 20, 2024 to May 24, 2024, the following companies represent the most active stocks on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Online Educator, One-on-One Educational Services had 4,737,052 units, amounted to 7.65% of market volume in terms of equity sales. Toll Road Operator Trans-Jamaica Highway with 4,646,032 units amounted to 7.51% of the market volume. Over on the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, trading on May 24, 2024, registered a volume of 141,328 shares, crossing the floor of the exchange, valued at $1,985,765 Trinidad and Tobago dollars and 87 cents. National Enterprises Limited was the volume leader with 48,079 shares changing hands for a value of $175,488 Trinidad and Tobago dollars and 35 cents. NCB Financial Group Limited came in at 47,430 shares being traded for 127,889 Trinidad and Tobago dollars and 93 cents. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies, we turn to the Forex market. On May 24, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported that US $52.03 million was bought from Forex traders, while US $58.02 million was sold to Forex traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollar for $156.60 and bought the US dollar for $155.25. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $1.35, which represents a profit for Forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian Forex traders earned a trading profit of 29 cents from transactions with the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold at $115.07 and bought for $114.78. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $1.69, selling it for $199.63 and buying it for $197.94. For our credit report tip of the day, ladies, your credit report is more than just a financial report card. It's a powerful tool that can help you build and secure your financial future. Regularly checking your credit report helps you stay on top of your financial health, catch errors early, protect yourself from identity theft, and understand your credit standing. Use the free annual report from each of the major credit bureaus to do so. And with that, we wrap up today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams. Appreciate your company. Stay well informed, stay ahead of the curve. Until our next update, take care.
In regional news, Antigua and Barbuda's Foreign Affairs Minister E.P. Chet Green says the nation is ready to host the 4th Conference on Small Islands Developing States, SIDS-4. He made the declaration to ABS TV Sunday morning at a flag-raising ceremony marking the temporary handover of the American University of Antigua campus to the United Nations for the event. Garfield Burford reports.
The moment the flags of Antigua and Barbuda and the United Nations are handed over to be hoisted at American University of Antigua Sunday morning. Pouring rains could not put a damper on the solemn seminal occasion. With the Antigua and Barbuda Defense Force Band providing a fitting ceremonial soundtrack to this flag raising, the entire campus is now under the control of the United Nations for the duration of the conference.
It means, in effect, that the AUA is now the host, the home of the UN 4th SIDS conference here in Antigua Barbuda. Hallowed grounds, one may call it, extra special place as we host the world here in Antigua. Antigua, I declare on ABS TV that Antigua and Barbuda, we are ready to host the world here at SIDS-4.
Senior Vice President of AUA, Vernon Solomon, reacts to the temporary handover of the campus.
In one way, it's a lot of pressure, but then another way, it's a weight is off, because the responsibility, I think over the last few days, all the teams working together, both the United Nations team, AUA's teams, as well as the Antigua and Barbuda, the government entities, we've gotten to know each other rather intimately, and so there's a comfort level now.
The United Nations Under-Secretary General for the Department of Economic and Social Affairs and the SIDS-4 Secretary General, Li Jinhua, is eagerly looking forward to what will unfold.
That we are so grateful to the government and the people of the Antigua and Barbuda. That we know this is an historical moment for the country, for the campus, to raise the host country flag together with the UN flag here. That symbolizes that we officially started our journey for the SIDS-4 here in Antigua and Barbuda.
Minister Green provides an update on the numbers registered for the SIDS-4 conference.
Already there are almost 5,000. We did say at the start of the process, we expect about 5,000 visitors. When I checked yesterday, we were 4,700. And so I anticipate by the end of registration, which is tomorrow, we just may close in at 5,000.
The eyes of the world will be firmly fixed on the Twin Island state as the crucial issues affecting SIDS take center stage. Garfield Burford, ABS News.
In Barbados, an adult education program will soon be launched for individuals who left school at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Mia Mottley says the country's cabinet made the decision recently, mindful of the education gaps inflicted by lockdowns and other restrictions.
The Elder Council has met and they have Talk your talk, Griot and Dukaku, Gaulo. We know each other long enough now, eh?
The flooding was bad this time, Mama.
This cultural presentation was among the highlights at the Small Island Developing States Gender Equality Forum held at the historic Nelson's Dockyard earlier Saturday morning. Chief among the objectives of the two-day gathering is the presentation of a revised communique to leaders of SIDS outlining the next steps ahead of the COP29 summit. Junior Minister with responsibility for gender affairs, Senator Samantha Marshall, emphasizes that the events ahead of the SIDS-4 conference are equally important.
These interconnected events are critical as they address the vulnerabilities and opportunities from unique perspectives for our small island developing states, continually challenged by issues that threaten the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals.
Senator Marshall says whilst more educational and empowerment opportunities have been created in recent times, the goal of equality is still some way off. Representative UN's Multi-Country Office, Tawny Broadber, reiterates where the SIDS conversation began. Broadber speaks to the resilience of small island states belying their size.
We little, but we talawa. We may be small, but the SIDS and representatives from SIDS have been at the center of global movements. Whether it was Miles Stobie, Teresa Marshall, many more who negotiated that one paragraph at Rio that referenced SIDS for the first time. Without SIDS, where would the climate justice and security conversation be? 1.5 to stay alive began with us.
Prime Minister of Samoa, Fiame Naomi Mata Afa, agrees that progress is being made and what more SIDS needs to do.
The Gender Equality Forum, one of the first of its kind, has importantly brought key stakeholders together to accelerate equality, leadership, and opportunity for women and girls worldwide through sharing experiences and exploring opportunities from SIDS countries on multi-sector and multi-stakeholder strategies.
Key stakeholders have gathered in Antigua and Barbuda to discuss ways to advance gender equality in small islands developing states. The outcome of these talks will be presented to the 4th United Nations SIDS conference beginning Monday. The event unfolded at the renowned Nelson's Dockyard on Saturday. Patrice Martin reports.
But as Cabinet discussed yesterday, those who left school in 2020 and left school in 2021 and left school in 2022 and left school in 2023, the government and the ministry will ensure that there is a program that will be developed to be put in place as a form of adult education to give you the opportunity for functional literacy, functional numeracy, and also to reinforce the very values of which we speak.
This collaboration will provide an opportunity for teachers and educational leaders in Barbados to be exposed to professional development opportunities facilitated jointly by the two institutions and earn a certificate from a world-recognized educational institution. It would also serve to raise the profile of the Erdiston Teachers Training College as we seek to broaden our regional and global appeal and recognition.
Our faculty that we've recruited already to be a part of this initiative share their excitement. In fact, my biggest challenge at this point is to see who's going to be the best fit, because everyone is super interested in not just transforming education, but the capacity to do so in one island with a teacher's college and really provide a model for what the Caribbean and the world can look like in partnership. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a part of that?
In sports, cricket fans are still celebrating the West Indies' 3-0 sweep over South Africa in their T20 International Series at Sabina Park ahead of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup. The Windies put on a dominant showing in Sunday's final match as they recorded an 8-wicket win. West Indies head coach Darren Sammy says playing in front of the Jamaican fans was key in the team's victory. The West Indies will travel to Trinidad this week as they prepare to begin for their World Cup campaign. They will play Australia in a warm-up match on Thursday before their first World Cup game against Papua New Guinea in Guyana on Sunday. Cricket West Indies on Sunday announced that highly experienced all-rounder Jason Holder has been ruled out from a West Indies squad for the upcoming ICC Men's T20 World Cup due to injury.
The nature of Holder's injury hasn't been stated, but is understood to have been sustained while playing in County Championship. Left-arm fast bowler Obed McCoy has been named as Holder's replacement. West Indies legend and lead selector Desmond Haynes added that while it is unfortunate to lose a player of Jason's caliber, we are confident in the abilities of Obed McCoy. Haynes continued that the fast bowler has shown remarkable skill and promise in his performances, and this opportunity will allow him to further showcase his talent on the international stage, and believes he will bring a fresh and dynamic energy to the squad.
And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.